Okay, hello sir. I'm Umila Aparau and this is my lab partner Muhammad Aziz bin Muhammad Zaki. Today we will be presenting our lab 5 investigating the TCP, IP and OSI models for the lab subject CNS. So as we mentioned, we have created our topology in our packet tracer. So here we have a web server and also we have a web client. So as for the first part, we need to examine the HTTP web traffic. As for the first step, we need to change the mode from real time to simulation mode, and then we need to check the event list here. Make sure the event list should be only HTTP, and we can check the event list from here, and we can uncheck those we doesn't need. So here I've unchecked whichever I don't need, so I've only checked the HTTP. So here we have already set the HTTP. Okay, as for the next step, we need to generate the web HTTP traffic. So in order to do that, we need to go to the web client and then we need to go to the web browser. So here we need to enter the URL as www.osi.local and we need to go. Okay, once we does this, for now we won't be seeing anything happens here. So now we need to press the forward button 4 times in order to get the hostname resolved. Okay, so now I'm doing that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here we can see the packet is moving from web server to web client and also it repeats the same. So here we can see the time and we can see the at which device the traveling occurs, and here we can see the type. Later we will be going through this. Okay, now as for the question, look at the web client web browser page. Did anything change? Yes, from hostname unresolved, it turned into successfully accessed the home page for web server. So here we can see that okay, you have successfully accessed the home page for web server. So initially it will be hostname unresolved, and once we run this, once we press the forward button, we can see it has successfully resolved. Okay, so here I've attached my screenshot for the traveling, packet traveling, and also the time seconds and so on. Okay, next we need to explore the contents of HTTP packet. So in order to do that, we need to go to the first type. Okay, I've clicked the first HTTP type column. So here we can see the details of in layers and out layers, and each details of the layer. And we have two different types here. One is OSI model and second one is outbound PDU models. In OSI model, it will be very simplified in the details of each layer, but whereas in outbound PDU details, it will be very in detail. So moving forward to the question. Okay, here ensure that the OSI model is selected under the out layers column. Okay, select layer 7. So once I select layer 7, I can see the HTTP client sends a HTTP request to the server. Okay, so here's the screenshot, and what information is listed in layers out layers boxes for layer 7. Okay, in layers we couldn't view, so in out layers it is mentioned as the client sends a HTTP request to the server. What destination port value for layer 4 under the out layers column? Okay, here we can see the destination port in layer 4. It is 80. So thus it's 80. So what is the destination IP value for layer 3 under out column? Okay, destination IP is 192.168.1.254. Okay, so what information is displayed at layer 2 under out layer in column? So in layer 2 we can see here uh, we have Ethernet to header and 006047CA for DE 000196A9.401D. So the next hop IP address is unicast. The ARP process looks it up in the ARP table. The next hop IP address is in the ARP table. The ARP process sets the frame's destination MAC address to the one found in the table. The device encapsulates the PDU into an into the Ethernet frame. Okay. As for the next step, we need to click the outbound PDU details tab. So now I'm clicking the outbound PDU details tab. So what is the common information listed under the IP section for PDU and OSI model? Which layer is it associated? Okay, here we can see the similar things between these two tabs is the source IP and also the destination IP. So where which is like source IP is 192.168.1.1, destination IP is 192.168.1.254. Here we can see the same thing at the layer 3. So I've mentioned here, and here's the screenshot. Okay, for the next, what is the common information listed under TCP section in PDU and also SI? And which layer is it associated? So for the TCP, we can see the source port is 1027 and the destination port is 80. So here we can see here we can see in the TSP port under the outbound PDU details, the similarity is source port and also the destination port. So here is the screenshot. Okay, for the next, what is the host listed under the HTTP section PDU? Okay, for the host, here it is. Okay, the host is www.osi.local at layer 7. As for in the outbound PDU details, here is the answer: HTTP data accept language, English, US, and something accept slash and so on. So as for the OSI, it's in the layer 7, which is the HTTP client sends a HTTP request to the server. Okay, for the next, we need to click the next colored box, next colored HTTP column. So here we can see the device takes out the frame from the buffer and sends it. The fast internet sends out the frame. Here we can see only one layer is available. So we'll be going to the next. Uh, we'll be going to the next type of column. Okay, here the third one. Okay, as for the third one, here we can see they ask us to notice the direction of the arrow directly under the in layers column. Is it pointing out in upward, indicating the direction of the information is traveling? Scroll through these layers, making note of the item previously viewed. At top of column, arrow points to the right denotes the one who is sending information back to the client. Okay, here we can see the arrow whether it's pointing upward and which direction it is. So even here we can see the information is traveling. Thus we can do this. Let me compare it for a second. Okay, so as for the third one, we can see that. Okay, for the third one, we can see. Exit. Here it is. Okay, for the third one, we can see the arrow is moving towards the in layers, towards the out layers, and okay, this denotes that the server is now sending the information back to the client. Okay, so here it is, and I've attached a screenshot here. Okay, we can see the movement of the arrow here. Okay, comparing the information displayed in layers column with that out of layers, major difference. Okay, the major difference are in layers and out layer. That is different is the source port, destination port, source IP, destination IP, and the value of the rise. So for the last colored HTTP column, we can see the in layers value. I mean in values. Sorry, in layers details. So we can see the arrow is going upward, indicating indicating the direction is the information is traveling. Okay, so now for this, okay, how many tabs are displayed in the event? There's only two because the web client is receiving information from the web server. Okay, okay. Next. Okay, for the part two, my lab partner will continue. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Muhammad Zaki. Saya akan sambung untuk part 2 lab 5. Okay, yang pertama sekali dia suruh tutup apa-apa video information window. Okay, dah tahu siap-siap dah. Lepas tu dia suruh buka event list filter visible event dekat show dah dekat sini lah. Dia. Okay, sini. Dia non, lepas tu dia akan show all. Lepas tu dia suruh cari yang first DNS. So ni yang first DNS. Lepas tu dia nak tengok dia punya ni lah. Yang seterusnya dia nak tengok untuk dekat DNS query. Okay, dia guna www.oc local. Sama lah jawapan dia. Lepas tu dia nak tahu last DNS. Lepas tu dia nak tahu IP address yang digunakan. Okay, yang last DNS. Lepas tu IP address yang digunakan last ni lah. Yang ni lah. Ni dah jawapan dia 1254. Okay, untuk soalan F dia suruh cari first HTTP. Lepas tu dia suruh cari yang terus HTTP nya. Dia suruh cari TCP. Lepas tu dia suruh buka layer 4. So HTTP pertama yang ni. So yang ni kita buka. Lepas tu kita tengok layer 4 ni. Lepas tu dia tanya item apa yang ada dekat 4 dengan 5. So item 4 dengan 5 yang ni lah. Jawapan dia the TCP connection is successful. Lepas tu device connection to establish. Ok, yang seterusnya yang G disuruh cari last 4 TCP event. Lepas tu disuruh buka layer 4. Lepas tu disuruh examine establish directly. So untuk yang last 4 ni, so dia 1, 2, 3, 4. Yang 4 ni kita buka. Contohnya yang pertama dia buka. Lepas tu kita buka layer 4. In out layer. Lepas tu dan seterusnya kita sama juga buka sampai yang last. Lepas kita sampai yang last dah, kita buka layer 4. Lepas tu dia suruh tanya what is the purpose of the events based on information. The last item should be item last 4 lah. Lepas tu yang lepas tu tujuannya untuk ni lah, because it show the device is receive the item. Alright. Okay, yang seterusnya untuk yang bahagian challenge ni, disuruh look at layer 4 and assign model for port. So kita akan tengok dekat HTTP yang pertama, yang itu kat sini. Lepas tu kita akan tengok dekat layer 4. Lepas tu dia guna port apa. Okay, port 80. So itulah jawapannya. Lepas tu yang seterusnya kita tengok pula dekat web server for DNS request. Yang pertama sekali juga okay, yang ni. Lepas tu kita tengok layer 4 dia guna port apa, 53. Okay, 53. So itu sahajalah untuk yang part 2. Thank you.